All right, what is going on, everyone, and welcome back to a special video that we have today. So I was talking to my friend earlier about Black Desert, and they're like a newer player to the game. They got it when there was like a Steam sale, I think, the Thanksgiving thing. And as you guys know, as a new player, it's hard to get into the game, and especially with the overwhelming amount of knowledge that it goes into it, it's hard to just progress and like be productive without actually knowing what to do. So this video I wanted to talk about was how to be productive in game without burning out of the game. So what I mean by that is like things you can do to just like continue making silver even if you're AFK, or making sure you just don't burn out, whether you're a beginner or like an end game player. I think some of these tips are going to be interesting because this is actually what I do as well. I've been playing the game for over 7 years now, and I've definitely had a lot of ups and down days, weeks, and months. So I wanted to give 5 general tips that I think would be helpful for basically everyone in terms of if you ever just have a downtime in game and you just want to progress and just not get burnt out. Here it is. So in no particular order, number 1 would be setting weekly or monthly goals. So what I mean by that is, as you guys know, if you're a new player and you're watching like an endgame player with all this gear and you're wondering, oh, how did they get all this silver, or how did they get all this gear? And then you try it yourself and then you're just like extremely overwhelmed. Generally, this game is one of those things where you should just work on improving your character. And one thing I've learned throughout the years is not to really compare yourself to others. Because when I first started this game, I started it with a friend. We came from other MMOs where, like World of Warcraft or Elder Scrolls Online. Those kind of games where you just reach max level, do the highest end, like dungeons and raids, get the best gear. And so we had a competitive mindset of, okay, so let's see who can get the best gear in X amount of time. This game, it doesn't really work like that because progression in this game is a little bit different, and you feel like you actually earn all the gear and everything you have in this game. So like, no matter if you bought your pen, weapon, or armor, you still had to grind and save up money to buy it, or you enhanced it yourself and have your name on it. Either way, both of those are huge accomplishments. And so, one, don't compare yourself to others, but also set monthly goals for yourself, because doing everything at once will cause burnout extremely fast. I know this because I've tried it. And so for all of you guys, just work on like one piece of gear at a time. Or, let's say you want to do life skilling and you don't know what you're doing. Just work on like small gains, figure out one life skill at a time, maybe 2, and then go from there. And then this is just a long-term game. So I think that's a good thing. Don't burn out by just setting small goals for yourself and achieve those one at a time. Number 2 would be time blocking. And this is also another way of saying planning as well. So let's say you have a goal in mind, right? And you don't know how to go about doing it, and you just want to do a lot of different things in the game, right? I would set aside, let's say you have 3 hours of playtime every day. Set 1 hour to like grind, 1 hour to life skill, and then 1 hour to just plan what you're going to do for the next day, and or figure out, do the events, whatever, story quests, I guess, whatever your goal is, right? So it's understandable that some people like doing one thing. So I assume that a lot of people who come into this game come from another MMO of some sort, or just RPG game in general. And you've probably heard of Black Desert as probably a very grindy game, maybe pay to win, RNG enhancing. Those aren't really how I like to describe the game to people, but let's be real, there's a lot of all of that in there. So doing one thing will probably burn you out, and so So you kind of want to just learn different things and do different things as well. Just like try out the entire game. So let's say you came in knowing you're going to have to grind a lot. Maybe set aside to do 1 hour of that and then 1 hour of life skilling a day. That's actually what I do. So a little bit of a story. Well, I guess not really a story, but it's what I do on a regular. Like when I wake up in the morning, I'll probably have some amount of energy, right? And like energy in game. And I'll just go life skilling for like half an hour. And then after I do that, I go take a break, come back, maybe do an hour or two of grinding, and then go take a break again, and then figure out what my next goals are. So it's not like I'm doing one thing at a time. I kind of separate my day into what I feel like doing at that time. So make sure to set time blocks for what you're planning on doing. That way it makes it a lot easier, and maybe you'll find something that you enjoy doing, and it's not all the same thing. So yeah, variety is actually good. I am aware that grinding is probably the fastest way to progress in this game, but learning everything will help you later on. Trust me, like learning how to life skill and making your food and elixirs and potions, everything, it will help you eventually. So it's better to learn it early than later on in the game. Next thing we have is number 3, energy management. So as we all know, energy in this game is something that regens on different ways. Like if you are actively on that character, energy will regen at a faster rate than if you are not on that character. So like my other characters. So one thing I would always recommend doing is if you have a setup for your light stones and stuff, like let's say you have a light skill one, there are crystals over here that give 10 energy each, right? You can have 2 of them. Now what this does is it'll increase your max energy pool. So like let's say mine is 556. If I had the energy crystals on, it would be 576. So what the game doesn't really tell you is, even if you put them on all your other characters that you don't play, the max energy cap, as long as the crystals are equipped on that character, your total would be like 576 with the crystals on. So that allows you to go above and beyond your cap, even if you don't play that character. But also at the same time, try not to let your energy cap out like whatever your max total is. And the reasoning why is you can convert energy into silver in one way or the other, whether you're gathering, whether you turn them into energy potions and sell them, whether you invest in nodes or whatever. Either way, you should always do something with your energy. And even as a person who's been playing this game for over 7 years, I can still think of something to do with energy every single day. And even if I don't feel like grinding or life skilling, I would honestly just invest it into a node or something. So like for example, over here that has the little level, and what happens when you increase it is it in theory increases the drop rate at the like region you're in. So the best way to check that out would be to go to your monster zone info, and then let's say you are grinding in a certain place. You see this little bonus right here. It'll tell you what node you need to invest in. It'll tell you the node and the item drop rate that you have. So if you invest energy into it, you get a higher drop rate when you grind, which is always good. It'll always be helpful no matter what. So I think that's just something you should do. Make sure to manage your energy on all your characters. And they actually made it a lot easier nowadays. So let me show you an example. So what I've been doing, investing my energy into Darkseeker's Retreat. I'm grinding there for the new Ator shoes, the new artifacts and everything. So what you would do is you invest in it, and then it shows you all your characters, right? This tells you how much energy you have, and then you could just dump all your energy into there if you wanted to. And then they actually made it easier over the few, I don't remember when they added it, probably within this past 6 months, where you can just use all your energy from one character. Before you would have to swap to every character manually, which is kind of annoying, but it is what it is. So it's good now. And yeah, make sure to at least do something with your energy. Gathering is a very profitable one. And then aside from that, do whatever else you want with it. Number 4 is learning life skills or grinding. So obviously the two paths in the game you can make. So let's say you're a new player and you don't know what to do. You just started this game. Generally, there are two paths you can go. Obviously, you can do both of them. There's a life skill path and then there's a grinding path. And admittedly, grinding is more silver an hour than every life skill at an average. If you are a very high-end life skiller, it is kind of competitive, but for most people, it won't be. And so I do have videos on like how to do every life skill. I'm obviously on an alt right now, but usually I actually do know how to do basically every life skill. And this brings us back to like setting monthly goals that we talked about. And I think that would be good because overall, you're learning the game. Every life skill connects in one way or another to each other. So for example, if you do gathering or fishing and hunting, you get raw materials and you turn those raw materials into either usable products or you could sell it for profit. And how you do that is by cooking, alchemy, and processing. So you take raw materials and then turn it into something by another life skill. And then the rest of these are all just individual life skills. So I guess this is going to be an obvious thing, but for new players, I'll just like show it to you in a way. Okay, so let's take this. Let's say this is a timber, right? This is a tier 1 material that we'll call, and you get this by just generic gathering. You get various timbers, and if you process it, you turn the timbers into planks, and then we'll call that a tier 2 material. And then you could turn those planks into plywood, which is the tier 3 version. As you guys can see from the market price, it's like higher in every time. So as your processing level goes up, you get a chance to proc more. So it's not a 1-to-1. Sometimes you can get like a 2-to-1 or 3-to-1, something like that. It depends on the life skill. And that's where profiting from like processing comes in. And or obviously you could turn those materials into like very big items. Like let's say you're making a boat, or I don't know, you're making a wagon, something like anything. And so that's where a lot of the profit comes in. It's hard to say what is actually profitable. You just kind of have to learn the market and everything. But that's just like a basic general guideline of how to turn materials into high amounts of silver. And the last thing we're going to be talking about is have a good mentality going into this. So obviously, there are days where everyone just doesn't feel like doing anything. And when we set a monthly goal, I know that like you don't just stick to it every single day. It's kind of like going to the gym. Some days you just don't feel like it. And so usually what I would say is if you are not in a good mood and you're just not feeling it that day, you don't have to do the full amount. Let's say you set a goal of 3 hours of grinding a day. That's more than most people do, actually. I think on average, most people do like 30 minutes to 1 hour of grinding a day. That's like your average player. So if you're not feeling it and you're just like mad or something, or you just don't feel it, I just wouldn't do it that day because it's just gonna make you unhappy. And then just like, oh, it feels like work. Got to do it again. So yeah, just like try something new that day, or really just don't play it. At the end of the day, this is a video game, so like just go outside, do something else. I don't know. So yeah, hopefully those are some tips that I could give you to still stay productive in this game. There's a lot of AFK activities, and by that I mean like literally what I'm doing now. I'm just literally auto fishing while talking to you guys, and I don't even know. I probably didn't make a lot of silver, but it's still like always be doing something in this game. And whether that's AFK processing, fishing, I don't know, horse training, any sort of life skill, everything you can do in this game, as long as you're online, try to be doing something. And a lot of things actually zero effort, like what I'm doing right now, just AFK fishing. So yeah, there's always something to do in this game. Those are actually the tips that I follow myself. you guys can watch those videos I do. Like, I have a thing for December where we do our monthly goals and progression. So I told you like a few days ago, I actually made this video for December, what my monthly goals are, and then every week I do a progression update, so I could like watch it myself and see like, hey, I did this month. And whenever I watch my old things or make the montage for the end of the year, it's like, that's awesome, I accomplished these goals, and you have something to look back on. So yeah, with that said, I'm curious for all of you guys, whether you're an endgame player or you just started yesterday, what kind of goals do you set for yourself? And I'm curious to know what your guys' daily activities are. So yeah, with that said, before I head out, I just want to say thanks so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, drop a quick like. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. I would love to see you guys come back. I make videos for beginners, returning players, people who are looking to get better at the game, for both like grinding, life skilling, trying to get back into more PvP. But as you guys know, the changes have been kind of wild lately. So hopefully, whatever you like doing, I'll try to make a video of that at some point. And yeah, there's a huge catalog of videos. If you're on my channel, you'll probably find a playlist of everything I've done this year, last year, the past 7 years. And yeah, you can watch the adventure. So with that said, I'm out for today. Peace.